Hi, you've heard about rooftop gardens? Well, come with us as we check out a rooftop farm in Wichita, Kansas.
And then we're going to go eat at a farm-to-table restaurant that sounds really good. Do you guys supply any local restaurants?
We do supply, that's where most of the food goes. We also sell to retail customers, but the bulk of it does go to local restaurants. But yeah, a lot of local restaurants. That's
Okay.
our favorite thing, because then they turn the food into something even more amazing and beautiful. Of course, home chefs do too, but you know.
But you can go in and see that. Most home chefs are not.
Make
Come on
it.
in.
Yeah. You just eat it and enjoy it. It's lovely.
I was about to ask how it compared to a hydroponic system.
There's some layers of, see that waffle-y looking egg crate thing?
Yeah.
So that is a permeable layer that the roots can go through, and then it kind of collects water in those cups. And then there's a non-permeable membrane under that to try and keep the water in. But it really, we can't use regular soil because it would hold too much water and it would get too heavy. So the whole thing would be, just the weight of the beds would be too much. They actually told us that a square foot of soil wet is more heavy than a square foot of a car. So even though it's made for a parking garage and obviously heavy things sitting on it, apparently drenched soil is too much. So this allows the water to go through but collects at the bottom a little bit. And then yeah, everything, you'll see the water lines that just run all throughout.
Yeah.
Kind of one cool story about Rise Farms is that the developer that developed this was an old parking garage, and he turned it into really cool apartments, and you could drive up to your front door and park there. So
Oh, I love it.
pretty unique for an apartment.
Yeah.
And so he spent a lot of money and time making that happen, and then he saw Fidelity was buying this block and gonna turn it into a parking garage, and he was like, you guys, that's great, but you have to do something more than a parking garage. And I happen to know a lady that runs ground level farm, Leah, at Firefly, and I think she'd be perfect. You should try a rooftop farm. And then that's when they started going to Chicago and trying to learn about other rooftop farms, feasibility studies. They did a lot of like wind and shade studies up here to try and figure out how that was going to affect the plants. These lights stay on all the time, so does that affect the plants? Probably about a year and a half of research, and then part of that, the construction was going on at the same time too. A little bit hotter up here than the street, but not a lot. There's not a lot of pollinators downtown Wichita, so we had to intentionally plant some plants and flowers that would bring pollinators in. We have had one rabbit up here somehow that must have came in like maybe in a bag of soil, but we're not sure. So
one lost.
Not too many critters, but you know, sometimes.
Have you guys considered beehives up here? Is that not a thing in this area?
Beehives up here. We have beehives at Firefly. Love beehives, but we I don't remember if it was an insurance thing or what. This corner of downtown really kind of felt neglected most of my life. So I think the car park is what we call this building, and the rooftop farm and the retailers have added a lot.
How many people does it take to run something like this?
I think there are probably 2 full-time and maybe 2 seasonal people. It has, you know, the plant maintenance is obviously a big part of it, but also washing and packing and selling the food takes another person or 2 as well.
I'll tell you one thing that I just kind of recently came to understand about the bank is they own the infrastructure and I own the business. And then these fruits and vegetables are sold to the employees. Every Tuesday afternoon we set up a table in the lobby, and they can, as they're walking from the building to the parking lot, they can stop and buy their groceries for the day or the week, and we have some that do both. And then as part of their corporate wellness program, several times a year, I think it's 6 times a year, the woman who owns that company comes in and makes a healthful recipe over the lunch hour so the employees can sign up for that, and then they can buy bags of the produce. She uses our produce in her recipe, and then the employees can buy our bags of groceries and grab her recipe and go home and make it at night. This is a 15,000 square foot farm, which on a rooftop feels like a lot, but as a farm it's considered a micro farm.
That makes sense.
And we've divided it into 5 areas.
Okay.
And so the area in front of you is area 1. One of the things we wanted to do, although we're trying to make a profit, we also understand our responsibility to educate the public. So we have some perennial crops here because not everyone in the public realizes that food crops can be annual and perennial, meaning they come back year after year. So, for example, we have sunchokes on the end, or also called Jerusalem artichokes, and we have asparagus next to that, and we have rhubarb next to that. And then 2 of my favorite crops up here, we have a couple of tropical crops, which you don't think of Kansas as being tropical. So we have turmeric there, and then ginger. Have you ever cooked with ginger, fresh ginger? You know what I hate about fresh ginger is that you have to peel it. And I'm always afraid by the time I get the bark off, there's not gonna be anything left. And so the really cool thing about ginger is that when it's grown out of its zone, it doesn't put that bark on.
Really?
So, right. So right before first frost, we'll harvest it. All we do is wash it and chop it and use it. We are still in the process of recording square foot production on everything we're growing to be able to give data. People like numbers.
Yes.
People like numbers.
We were so busy last year that we didn't capture it. So this year we're trying to capture it. Well, moving on in this first area, area 1, we have some espaliered fruit trees that we just planted, and we're getting the trellises built right now. So these are red Bartlett pears. And if I had it to do all over again, I would grow a lot more fruit. People will snack on fruit, and they're less likely to snack on veg.
Fair.
So we have our red Bartlett pear program. It's not gonna ever produce a lot. And then we are field testing raspberries this year.
Oh.
So yeah, people like raspberries. They like all the fruits, it seems. Italian eggplant, Asian eggplant. Then we go into a snacking bell. We have a red and an orange snacking bell. And then a sweet bell pepper. And then on the end, we have some hot peppers. We have what they call a bishop's crown, which is in the hot pepper family, but it's a mild hot pepper. And these are all small peppers. What we found last year, so this is our second year of growing, and we began to understand some things. The small fruited items do better than the large fruited items. So we have 2 farms.
For sale or growing in this type of medium?
Growing in this type of medium, and the challenges of the roof. And if it's cool on the bottom, it's going to be cold up here. If it's warm on the bottom, it's at street level, it's going to be hot up here. If it's a little windy down there, it's going to be really windy. So it seems like everything is more and more.
I know in my little garden at home, we lose quite a few tomatoes and bell peppers and that type of thing to the birds. Do you guys get a lot of loss to that?
No, we don't. And we discourage the birds up here. They haven't found us. This is area 2 from our farm, and it looks a little bedraggled today, but it's actually quite healthy and happy. And it's a combination of an herb program and a flower program. And we want to encourage the local bees to come up and pollinate, so we wanted some flowers in. By next year, I think it'd be really nice to have native flower.
Oh, that would be lovely.
So right now we're using, we just came up with a beautiful mix, not necessarily native, and next year I'd like to go to native flowers. We have basil, we have lilac, oregano, an Italian oregano, we have sage, Baumgarten, which is a basic German sage. We have rosemary, thyme, and chives in the back. You see these string trellises going up, those are hops. We are in the process of building them a better trellis, and then we think they'll take off. We would like to be able to harvest those and take them to one of our wonderful local brewers and get a Rise Farms beer.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So this is area 2, and now we're gonna move into area 3, which is 6 individual beds. So all root structures can essentially divide them into 3 categories. So there's a 6-inch, a 12-inch, and an 18-inch depth root. So we're saving, we got smarter this year, and we're saving all these deep beds for the deeper rooted items.
Okay.
So this is our cherry tomato plant. And so we have Juliet's, which is an oblong shaped red. We have Sun Gold, which my friend calls tomato crack, because she can never get it from the garden to the house, it's all eaten up. And then we have a couple of what I call a saladette sized tomato. And then these big plots, there's 3 of them here and 2 at the end. So I call this area 4. And we have a shishito pepper program right here, these first 3 rows. Have you guys ever eaten shishito peppers?
I can't say
Not
I
that
have.
I know of.
So they are 2-3 inches. And what we do, what you do is you roast them with salt and pepper and then just eat them whole. And they're mild pepper, and every 10th one is hot. So it's often served with crema. And so when you hit that hot one, you dip it in the salad.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And cool it down a little bit. Then we have our wash program, and here's a little patty pan. You can see
It's adorable.
these guys here.
Uh-huh.
So we have a yellow patty pan and a green patty pan. And then we have dark green zucchini. We harvest all of our squash at 5 to 6 inches because the restaurants, they want to saute them and have them hold their shape. And so they want very little small seeds so they hold their shape well. So we harvest them at about 5 inches, about the length of your hand. This is our second plot in area 4. We are starting to harvest tricolor carrots, red, yellow, and purple. When you get them on your plate, the chef wants those 3 colors.
Okay.
All of these, I think, are in the orange family, just straight orange carrots. So the tricolors are sold as baby carrots, and these carrots are sold as full adult. There's actually like a miniature carrot, there's a quarter, a half, and a full-size carrot. And a full-size carrot, most people don't grow them anymore. They're like 12 inches, very long. And we grow like a half to a 3/4, so it'll be somewhere between 5 and 7 inches.
Okay.
Is there a noticeable flavor difference between that like 3/4 and that full, or is it just a matter of this big hunkin' thing that we now have to manage?
So I say that there is, because when we plant our carrots, we can go in and thin our carrots, and when we thin our carrots, they're about this long. They have all the flavor they will ever have.
Okay.
So the longer they get, maybe the more diluted the flavor would be by volume, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Plot 3 in area 4 is beets. They call them chayogia. They're the red and white striped bullseye.
Okay.
If you've seen those. These are golds, these are red. We don't like using chemicals. So one of our expressions is it has to be good for the people growing and consuming the product. It has to be good for our environment, and it has to support us fiscally. These white tops are bug netting, and the dark green covers are sun support. So it cuts somewhere between 30 and 80, depending upon what the crop is
Okay.
and how much sun. We are organic in all our processes, I think is what I was trying to get out there. for
Okay.
you. And we have a little odd late arrival green zebra tomato that we're running in this bed. It's a very flavorful saladette tomato, green with some yellow striping. The last row is a beet called a badger flame. So when you cut it open, it looks, you know those flame stitching needlepoint? It looks like that inside of the
cool.
beet. So this is 3 of the 5 plots in plot 4. I'm going to take a break just a minute to just point out behind us the irrigation program.
Okay.
It's really a smart program. We can control it by our computer and by our phones.
Oh, that's nice.
Real convenient.
So when it's raining, I live about 30 minutes away from here, and I can get on my phone and turn the system off without having to come up.
Oh, that's
nice.
Pretty nice, pretty nice. So this is an Israeli company, Netafim. And the most important tool, I think one of the most important tools is our crop plan. And one of our second most important tools is our germination chamber. So that's what this is. So I thought all of those beds that we've been looking at, the expensive real estate. So in order to make this system work and to be financially solvent, we have to turn the crops over as often as possible. So I'll give you an example. Tomatoes germinate left to their own devices just out in the open air 12 to 14 days. In here, they germinate in 2 days.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
So we can cut 2 weeks off the front of that process by using something like the germination chamber.
Okay.
And then once they germinate, we pull them out, we put them under the lights, and they stay there till they get their first or second set of what we call a true leaf. The first leaf is an embryonic leaf, and then the second and third leaves are the normal leaves, and then they go over to the hoop house to grow up.
Gotcha.
And then once they're grown, they get transplanted in their bed. And that last area, all we're trying to do is let it put on its crop. And then we harvest that crop, take it out, and go right on to the next thing. Well, this is where we put our starter, and you can see some of our starter plants here. And in the spring and later this month, this thing will be full of starter plants. One of my favorite tools is that I can roll the
Oh, that's nice.
and move my walking row anywhere I want. And by planning it this way, we were able to get in a 5th table for holding plants, which doesn't look like that's important right now, but it is. These are our last 2 plots in area 4. The hoop house is its own area, area 5.
Okay.
So this is plot 4 and plot 5, and we're starting with cucumbers. This cucumber is a striped Armenian cucumber.
Oh, those are fun looking things.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a long boy.
So this guy is actually in the gourd family and not in the cucumber family. So
Really?
it's an Armenian striped cucumber, and it tastes as if a honeydew and a cucumber.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and people were very afraid to buy those last year till I gave out samples.
That
And then
makes
everyone
sense.
that tasted the sample bought them the rest of the year. They have a very unique flavor, slightly sweet overtones, and even the chefs are buying them now, not just retail. So
That's gonna add some very interesting opportunities, especially depending on whether it cooks more like a melon or more like a
Right.
traditional squash. You're gonna get some real cool options.
I would like to use it in a fruit salad, I think. Then we move into some of our greens. This is an arugula, which is a spicy. You guys
Yeah,
familiar?
I'm
familiar with
vaguely
arugula.
familiar with arugula.
This is a summer butter lettuce. We have it in a green and a red. This is a broccolini for the fall. And then we sell some of these leaves as braising greens. And another round of this would be, are planted for heads. See how they're spaced apart? And these are put together real thickly. So we'll harvest these as mixed greens. And then we have romaine heads here. On this side, our last row, this is
Basil?
basil, green basil, which needs to be pruned a little more. Then we have a Napa cabbage. We have cauliflower. And this broccolini, we just sent it for analysis. Something happened to it. And it needs to, we'll take it all out next week. But we took it off to the lab to see what happened. We can't quite figure it out. You can see that some of our lacinato kale seem to have a similar response.
That kind of puckered leaf.
Yeah, so this is a mystery for us, so we're gonna send it off to a lab to have them tell us what happened there. They'll analyze the leaf. This is a spinach, a summer spinach crop. And then we're back to standard American market more cucumbers. So,
Cool.
this is our farm.
This
Thank you
is
so much. This is
awesome.
amazing.
There is a lot packed into this space.
Yeah, there is. I'd say we're growing about, we got better this year at planning and growing, so we're going probably double the amount we grew last year.
And how many years have you been up here?
This is our second year.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So you'll probably be
Getting this refined.
yeah,
Yeah.
refining every year for several years.
Yeah, oh yeah. You never quit growing. I like to call farmers citizen scientists because
I like it. Thank you so much.
you so much. This has been
It was
absolute
such a
delight.
pleasure. As you can tell, I love what I do.
Hi. So we're here at Homegrown in Wichita. It's a small chain that focuses on farm-to-table food. I am aggressively hungry, so I'm going to skip a lot of the preamble and just kind of jump into the eating section. Coffee is great, food is better. This is breakfast for me.
And I'm going to steal a bite of yours just so I can see what it tastes like.
Oh, that is crumbly. Oh, that is crumbly.
How is?
Crumbly.
Yes, but is crumble good, or is crumbly the only thing you can find to say about it?
Oh no, it's good. It bites back. I made to preserve some of this gravy to go with my eggs because it bites back nicely.
But it's a black pepper, and it's not aggressive. That's good. It's a nice, smooth, well-rounded Southern gravy. It's what I think of when I think of Southern gravy.
It's got a little bit of heat. It's got a little bit of spice, but mostly it's just hitting with flavor.
But it's not a red pepper heat. It's a black pepper heat, which is, again, more of what I expect in a Southern gravy.
That's a very pleasant surprise on the hash. It's got a very tomatoey aromatic to it. Yeah, let me get you able to get in there and get some.
I bet that can be explained by the tomatoes in it.
Most likely, but like, it's lighter than I normally associate potatoes.
It's good. It's well spiced. Again, whoever does their spicing, it's a nice, for want of
I
overusing a
almost
word.
called them underground tomatoes. Well, they were both
It's
theoretically
early in the morning.
nightshades. My brain has been doing this glitching out thing since I woke up this morning.
It's still dark outside.
I'm playing a yeg.
I'll let you have that. I'm going to take a bite of my sandwich.
Okay.
This is a chicken salad sandwich with local bacon and, well, I think most of it's local.
They did the egg to perfection. That is exactly how I like my eggs. Nicely cooked, a little bit crispy around the edges and soft in the center.
I'm used to a lot of chicken salads being on the sweet side. This is completely savory, but really quite good. Want to try it?
Mm-hmm.
And the bacon pairs really well with the savory.
Nope, the sneeze is gonna hold out and keep me hostage for a while longer. Just wait, I'm gonna take a bite and then sneeze. Yeah, that develops nicely.
Nice fresh fruit salad. Everything you expect from a nice fresh fruit salad. Including poppy seeds, which I did not expect.
Good.
Oh, that's a nice pickle. Nice crisp crunch. Not overly aggressive. I will finish the pickle.
So Turtle One, do you mind if we sample yours as well? So you said salsa verde pork. That cilantro is doing work. So it is all of the best bits of a good pico de gallo, mixed with a little bit of hearty cheese and a few other things.
Well, the green in the salsa is not an aggressive green chili.
No.
It's several of the other green things that can make a green salsa. I strongly prefer this. I do
This
not
is-
care
this
to be
is
hit
all.
in the face with a green chili.
If you're looking for something spicy, my black pepper-based biscuits and gravy is legitimately spicier than this. If
This
you're
has
looking
good
for
flavor.
delicious option for those more Hispanic flavors while not wanting
Southwest
that full
flavor.
spice.
It's good.
All right, I give this back. We gonna go eat.